Hey everybody, here's part 2 of the distributive property video. So this should look familiar to you. If we think about the distributive property in terms of rectangles rather than decomposing numbers, we have this rectangle and we know that the area of a rectangle can be found by multiplying the base times the height. And so we can find this a couple of ways. We can figure out the area of each of these rectangles, so 6 times 3 plus 6 times 2. Or we can add these and then multiply times 6, so 3 plus 2, and then multiply times 6. Or we can just say, we know this is 5, so it's 6 times 5. Same thing here, but we're subtracting because we want to know a part of this rectangle. And so it would be 4 times 7 minus 2, or just 4 times 5, because we know 7 minus 2 is 5. Or we could do 4 times 7 minus 4 times 2. And so if we jump ahead and continue to think about the distributive property in this way of rectangles, a rectangle has a width of 4 units and a length of m units. So we have this rectangle, and it has a length of 4 and a width of m. And so, write an expression for the area of this rectangle in the space below. So if it has a width of 4 and a length of m, the expression would be 4 times m. And then what is the area of the rectangle if m is 3 units? So if this is 3 units, then it's 4 times 3, which is 12. If this is a 2.2 units, this would be 2.2. So 4 times 2.2, which is 8.8. And so that's another way to look at that distributive property. So now we have 2 rectangles, and we have this x5 rectangle and this 8 and 5 rectangle. The width of one rectangle is 5, but its length is unknown, so we labeled it x. Write an expression for the sum of the 2. And so we would do 5 times x plus 5 times 8. And so if you do, you have this rectangle that's 5 and x, and this rectangle that's 5 and 8, and you want to know the sum of the 2 of them, you could, because 5 is multiplied twice, you could say either 5 times x plus 5 times 8, or you could say 5 times x plus 8. And so that brings us to this next diagram, and we have this series of partition rectangles. We have 3 and 8 and 5, and so we can do a and 5 times 3. So again, it would be 3 times a plus 3 times 5, or another way to write it would be 3 times a plus 5. And so hopefully you get the idea there, and you can do that for the rest of these. Let's look at this one, 5 times 3x plus 8. You could do, let's see, I got to go back and be reminded what it looks like. If I can click 5 times 3x. So 3x, 8, and 5. So again, it would be 5 times 3x plus 5 times 8, or 5 times 3x plus 8. And so we'll have one more video for you in just a moment to put it all together.